Hi, it's Terry Gaines. I'm going to share some card samples I created using the Inking of You card sketch number 1. Card sketches are a great inspiration to start your card designs. For these card sketches, the card base can be either 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4.25, or it can be 4.25 by 11 scored at 5.5. The decorative image can be any shape or size. The layers can be designer series paper or cardstock that is stamped or texturized. The layers and images can be adhered with adhesive and or dimensionals. And the optional ribbon trim can be tied in a bow or a knot. So I have some fun samples to share with you. My samples are using current and retired product. So I'm going to start out with this card sample right here. This is using the Brilliance Wings dies, which is a new product in the new annual catalog. I cut the largest butterfly out of that die set using cut it out of gold foil sheets. I also ran this 2 by 5.25 layer through the brick and mortar embossing folder. Embossing folders are folders that you place your cardstock in, run it through your cut and emboss machine, and it will texturize. Embossing foil sheets is perfect if they're scratched up or scarred, because embossing image will camouflage all of that. And then the subtle folder I used right here is the subtle look there is actually the Tasteful Textile Embossing folder. And these strips of foil sheets and design or basic white paper cardstock is using the Banners Pick a Punch. So that is card number 1 I have to share with you. The second card is using a stamp set that recently retired. It is called Framed for You. It is my $1 Million Sales inspired stamp set, so I will continue to share ideas using that stamp set. The beauty of the stamp set, it goes so well with many designer series papers. I actually love using the Hydrangea Hill designer series paper and this small flower that's in the stamp set. And you can see I use the back piece here, but many of these designs would work great for this stamp set. The cardstock color is Gorgeous Grape, and I also used the Tasteful Textile Embossing folder on this layer and added a bow and some pearls. The previous card sample also had some pearls for embellishments. So that's a fun card to make. And I mentioned retired stamp sets. Who still has their Bow Bear stamp? I remember back, this was a stamp set I bought. It got back in 1998, and I still have it. And I will be honest with you, back in the day when we had this, I didn't care for coloring it in. I wasn't a big color person, but I will tell you the Stampin' Blends have been a game changer for coloring images out. Coloring them in, I'm sorry, my videos have bloopers and they're unedited, so I'm sorry about that. So let me give you a little bit of detail how I colored in this stamp set. I stamped the image with the Memento ink pad, and then I have some of this already colored in for you to show you. All I did was use the bronze Stampin' Blend, and then I'm going to use the ivory. They come together in a combo pack. The ivory one is what I've used for the light colors I want on the bear. For the bear itself, I colored in with the bronze. I colored in everything, and then to get the darker shades that I have here, I just came back in and colored that in again. When you color it again, a second or third color on it, you will get that darker color. And then there's a fine tip on it that you can get the stitching. And then you pick what color flowers you want and what color you want for your green piece or your greenery. So it is a fun way to color in these images, and I actually still love this Bow Bear stamp. And I will share the designer series paper I used for this is the back side of these floral pieces in the fine art. So one of these back pieces right here is what I've used here for this layer, and I've used petal pink, but all these subtle layers in the back would work perfect. And then you just change up your cardstock color and your flower color. This sample is using the ice cream cone designer series paper, which is in the January through June mini catalog. And this is a fun paper. I'm going to just give you a couple tips about this. I use the ice cream cone builder punch to create the image here. And what is fun is 3 of these designer series papers in the pack are perfect for using for your ice cream cone. So I'm going to show you here. Here's a sample. All of these watercolored images can be punched out. So what I have here is just showing you that I cut strips of my paper, which allows you to go in, reach your punch in, and get your ice cream scoops to have those fun different colors. I have a sample here where I've cut one of these sheets, and these are all the different ice cream scoops you can get from that one sheet of paper. Now you're looking at this saying, well, why did she do just part of that? Well, you can layer your ice cream cones. The one underneath does not have to be a full one, not your ice cream cone, your scoop of ice cream. You can layer those and create your ice cream cone with as many layers as you would like. And then the back of this is perfect for the ice cream cone itself. So that's a fun way to build your ice cream. This last card I have is using some brand new product. I used a stamp set that is called Color and Contour. And the stamp set has a couple floral images and then the solid piece that you can stamp to get your colored in image. It's got some beautiful sentiments, nice sentiments with beautiful font. And then it comes bundled that you can save 10% with the stamp set and the dies and purchase it bundled. It's got some great layering bundles here that work well with the stitched rectangle and cuts out both of these flowers. So that is what I used for some of these layerings and for the flower. I also used the designer series paper that's called hand penned. It is actually part of a suite that is called hand penned, but the designer series paper works great for this stamp set, but it also works great for this flower stamp set. So there's a lot of versatility. As you look at my card samples, you can see that I've changed some things up. Most all of these have the 2 by 5 1/4 for that first layer. But as I mentioned, you can change things up. The next layer, which is 4 by 2 and 2 3/4 by 4, is that on some of them. But as I mentioned, this is a little bit bigger here. This is narrower here. The card sketch is an inspiration. It's a starting point for your projects. If you are on Facebook, I just started a Create with Terry Gaines Facebook group. And last week I just posted my first challenge, which is creating a card with the card sketch number 1. And that deadline's actually tomorrow at midnight. And each week I will feature a new card sketch. So look in the comment section of the video or the comment area of my blog post if you would like a direct link to my Create with Terry Gaines Facebook group. And I would love to have you join the fun. Thanks, take care, and stay safe and stay healthy.